Let's continue here tonight. Justice Minister Ronald Lamola says the Hawks and the National Prosecuting Authority are making progress in taking state capture-related cases forward. The bodies have repeatedly come under fire for the lack of prosecutions. Lamola making the comments while addressing investors on government's efforts to address corruption.
A special task force is in place to enable the NPA and other law enforcement institutions to bring prosecutions based on the investigations work of the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. The NPA established a joint task force with the Directorate for Priority Crime, the Hawks, to coordinate responses and ensure that seminal cases are prioritized for investigation, prosecutions, and asset recovery. I'm definitely sure wherever you are sitting every day, you see an arrest or you see a preservation order with regards to these investigations. The task force is delivering on its mandate to drive coordinations and coherence in the NPA and the DPCI responses to the Zondo reports. Resources have been pooled and well-coordinated approach to prosecutions-guided investigation is being implemented. And we also want to thank the private sector for also putting or giving their helping hand in this regard. On the question of ensuring the state institutions are immune from capture in future, the whole of government will respond to Parliament when the President reports on the measures to respond to the Zondo Commission's recommendations. This will involve a variety of legislative changes and institutional reviews where necessary. We are establishing an Office for Ethics and Accountability for the NPA to detect and address any future unethical behavior. After considering the necessary draft legislations, we should be able to establish this office by the end of this financial year.
Ronald Lamola joins us for more on that story. Good evening, Minister Lamola. Thanks for your time tonight. In the last couple of weeks, Open Secrets has released a scathing report, and they've done the maths and looked into cases particularly linked to state capture and have asked the question around the number of prosecutions that we have actually seen related to state capture. And unfortunately, the showing there is incredibly dismal. How do you as government explain why there's been such little effort, it seems, to secure convictions where these cases are concerned?
Thank you, Kathy, and to the viewers at home. You will be aware that investigations and obviously decisions to prosecute with regards to a lot of matters related to the state capture started in earnest long before, but they had to wait at some point. You'll remember we had to amend the regulations to allow the investigative directorate to enable them to access some of the evidence to complete their investigations. And I do believe that they are now at a stage where they are ready to proceed with some of the matters. This also included them getting the necessary human resource in terms of digital investigations, accounting investigations, and other resources that they needed, even from the Directorate for Priority Crimes, the Hawks. So this combination of efforts, including the joint task force, I do believe that they are now ready to enable to do their job. And as you can see from time to time, you will see a preservation order, you will see arrest, and you see cases going to court. So the process of conviction will obviously have to be the outcome of the court process.
The point that is being made here is that often it is taking way too long to be able to see any kind of credible action in as far as being able to follow up on some of these crimes. Are the Hawks well capacitated to be the body that is investigating the bulk of these crimes?
Yeah, hence I said that there has been an onboarding of investigators seconded from the Hawks and the relevant institutions, and also the NPA itself getting the relevant expertise. I do think that they are now at the stage where they will be proceed with these matters and prosecute on them without any fear or favor. the issue of the capacity to deal with some of these matters continues obviously to be a debate. Hence, we are looking at them a kind of a permanent feature, because they also face challenges of some of the investigators, that those that are within the ID, the NPA and all that, feeling that they do not have a security of tenure. So that is what we're working on to enable a security of tenure and a secured environment for them to be able to work without any fear, favor or prejudice.
Let's talk about the announcement that you made today around the establishment of an ethics office. How different is that office going to be to the proposals that we've had for a Chapter 9 institution and integrity commission?
Yeah, unfortunately, I could not hear the question clearly. I just heard themes and so forth. But I will attempt to respond from what I heard. Is that we are saying we are looking at the ID evolving into some kind of a permanent feature with a multidisciplinary type of investigations. Obviously, that will have to be an outcome of consultations in terms of bill, in terms of legislations, within the entire cluster, but also with the society. It is also informed by some of the recommendations that they have come out of the Zondo commissions of inquiry related to Chapter 9 institutions.
Yes, so what I'm asking
all
is...
that. So all those... Yeah, unfortunately, I can't hear the question. I don't know why. You are breaking.
Yeah, it looks like we're having a bit of issues with that connection. I do know that you said you were being load-shed earlier. So my question is...
I can hear you now.
Sure, let me go ahead. My question is, how different is this ethics office that you're speaking about? How different would it be from the proposal to establish an independent Chapter 9 institution, and part of the name that has been given now is an integrity commission, but a body that is independent of the justice cluster, simply because of the nature of work that it needs to do. The idea to evolve the ID into a separate office doesn't seem to be gaining a lot of support, simply because ultimately the department will still have quite a lot of say, and the questions about how truly independent such a body would be.
Yeah, even now, we don't have a lot of say on the decisions to investigate and to prosecute. What we provide is support. The ethical office we're talking about is completely separate from the ID nor the Chapter 9 institution. It only deals with the conduct of prosecutors. You'll remember one of coming from the commission was that even the NPA itself was compromised in terms of ethics, in terms of integrity. So that ethical committee will respond to individual prosecutors within the NPA, where members of the public will be able to have a place where they can lodge a complaint with regards to their matters related to prosecution, and also with regards to matters that should be in front of court, so that if there are any ethical issues, that is the committee that will have to deal with that. That is to enable the prosecutors to be people of high moral and ethical standard and be immune from that was said from the Commission of Inquiry.
Your name, just on a different note, has been put forward by supporters in Mpumalanga in particular to take up the position of Deputy President of the ANC at the elective conferences in December. Have you accepted that nomination? What is your position?
Yes, Kathy, that is a very humbling experience. The ANC is a 100-year organization, a very big organization. So to be nominated, even for a branch leadership or regional leadership, and to be proposed for such a position, it's a humbling experience. And definitely when it comes, I will accept, I will participate in the process, because I do think that the ANC does need generational mix across the structures. It does need renewal. It does need to reflect the demographics of the country. So I will indeed accept when called upon to do so.
Will you also be actively campaigning for that position?
Yeah, I do think that the issue of saying we cannot engage in that process of campaigns and engaging is really belong to the period where the ANC was an underground organization. Now the ANC is not an underground movement, it's an organization in the public space. We are also living in an open and a democratic society. So I do think that engagements, lobbying and campaigns should be allowed, and if we are persuaded otherwise, that is open, there's engagements across all the structures. So I will engage, and I do think that the structures have already started to engage each other, which I think is a necessary process to find some form of consensus. And the elections will be obviously the last resort. And I encourage that let the debate and the discussions among the structures and comrades unfold in a comradely, cordial, frank, and robust manner.
All right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. I do apologize for the quality of connection to Justice Minister Ronald Lamola.